Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make this plush snowman. To make him, you're going to need a bulky yarn. This is a super bulky yarn in a weight 6. This specific brand is Baby Bee, which is available at Hobby Lobby. It's the Snugs and Kisses line, and this is the color Snowflake. Any bulky or super bulky yarn will work for this pattern, a 5 or a 6. You'll need a J hook or a 6.0, a stitch marker. I'm simply using a bobby pin. You'll need some embellishments. I'm using some felt pieces to make my snowman's face, some buttons, a pipe cleaner for the arms, and some ribbon. You can get creative and use whatever you would like to decorate your snowman. I'm also going to use a bit of makeup blush to give him rosy cheeks. And then we'll also need finally a yarn needle to weave in ends. You can get creative in making your snowman's arms and face. Use whatever you have on hand to decorate him. To get started, we are going to make a magic ring. If you're not comfortable with a magic ring, you can make a slip knot and chain 2. You would work all the stitches for round 1 into the second chain from the hook. I am going to start with a magic ring and chain 1 to secure my magic ring. And now I'm ready to begin. For round 1, I'm going to place 8 single crochets into the center of this magic ring. Again, if you are doing the chain 2 method, you will simply place 8 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. Now I'm going to pull my starting tail to gently close the magic ring, and I'm ready to begin round 2. We are going to increase in each stitch for round 2. An increase is simply placing 2 stitches into 1. Since we're working in single crochets for this pattern, we're placing 2 single crochets into each stitch around. So by the time that we get to the end of round 2, we will have made 16 single crochets. Okay, for round 3, we are going to place 1 single crochet into the first stitch of the round, and we're going to follow that with an increase in the next stitch. So the sequence for round 3 is 1 and an increase all the way around. So by the time we get to the end of round 3, we will have made 24 single crochets. Okay, coming up to the end of round 3. For round 4, we're going to place 1 single crochet into the back loop only. So when we're working, there's 2 loops that you go up under. The front loop is here, and the back loop is here. So for this instruction, we're going to go into the back loop only and make a single crochet in each stitch around. There's our first one for this round. So I'm going to slide my stitch marker back in and place 1 single crochet in the back loop only for each stitch of round 4. And what that will do is flatten out the bottom of our snowman just enough that he'll be able to sit upright, assuming he's not overstuffed, without having any additional support. Okay, coming up to the end of round 4, remove my stitch marker. For round 5, we're going to place 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, followed by an increase. That sequence will repeat all the way around, so 3 and an increase. So by the time we get to the end of round 5, we will have made 30 single crochets. Okay, coming to the end of round 5. For rounds 6 and 7, we're simply going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So at the end of each round, we will have made 30 single crochets. Okay, coming up to the last stitch of round 7 here. For round 8, we are going to place 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So here's my first single crochet. I'm going to single crochet in the second, and then the third, and then a decrease. To perform a decrease, I'm going to put my hook up under the next stitch, pull up a loop, go directly into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over with my working yarn, and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And that sequence is just going to repeat all the way around with 3 single crochets followed by a decrease. So by the time we get to the end of this round, we will have made 24 single crochets because we're taking 2 single crochets down to 1 with our decreases. Coming up to our last decrease here of round 8. For round 9, we're going to place 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches followed by a decrease. So 2 and a decrease for this round. So by the end of this round, round 9, we will have made 18 single crochets. Okay, coming up to my last decrease here, round 9. Round 10, we're going to place 1 single crochet followed by a decrease. So at the end of this round, we'll have made 12 single crochets since we're taking these 2 down to 1. So 1 followed by a decrease. Okay, here's the last decrease of this round. For round 11, we're simply going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So by the time we get to the end of round 11, we will have made a total of 12 single crochets. Okay, here we are at the end of the round. We've made 12 single crochets. I'm going to remove my hook for a moment, and we're going to stuff the bottom half of the snowman. Take your time with stuffing. It's important not to overstuff. Not only will it cause your stitches to gap if you overstuff, but it will also make it so that your snowman will have a hard time standing upright. You want it to be firm enough to hold the shape, but not overdone. So I just kind of take my time, a little bit of stuffing as I go, pushing it in and around with my fingers until I can tell that the plushie is got enough to hold its shape, to stand upright, and to not have the stitches gap. Okay, now that we have finished stuffing the bottom half of the snowman, for round 12, we are going to increase in each stitch around. So 2 single crochets in every stitch. So by the time we get to the end of this round, we will have 24 single crochets. Okay, here's our last stitch of round 12. From rounds 13 through 15, we're simply going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So by the end of each of those rounds, 13, 14, and 15, we will have made 24 single crochets. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 15. Round 16, we're going to place 2 single crochets, so 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, followed by a decrease. That sequence of 2 and a decrease will continue all the way around. So by the time we get to the end of this round, we'll have a total of 18 single crochets. Okay, last decrease of the round here for round 17. We are going to decrease in every stitch, set of stitches, I should say, I guess, around. So by the time we get to the end of this round, we'll have a total of 9 single crochets. Since we're decreasing all the way around, we'll go from 18 down to 9. So simply decreasing all the way. Okay, here's our last decrease. For the final round of the pattern, round 18, we're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So again, by the time we get to the end of this round, we'll have a total of 9 single crochets. Here's our last stitch. I'm going to slide my stitch marker out of my way, and I'm going to leave a long tail of yarn and fasten off. Now I'm going to stuff the top of my snowman. Again, taking care to not overstuff. Okay, now that we've finished stuffing the snowman, I'm going to take that tail of yarn and thread my yarn needle with it. I'm going to pass the yarn needle back and forth through the final loops of round 18. Once I get back around, I'm going to gently pull that yarn tail to close the top of my snowman, and then I'm going to pass that yarn tail through the body of the snowman to secure it in place. I can trim away that excess yarn tail, and you can reshape the body of your snowman as needed, and it should stand upright. And now it's time to go ahead and decorate him. Okay, now that we've stuffed our snowman, let's go ahead and start decorating him. I have preheated my hot glue gun. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this little felt circle and glue it on for the eyes. I like to have the eyes kind of close set together, but you can do whatever you like. And to line them up, I just kind of go along the bottom, or pardon me, the top of one of those rounds at the bottom of the eye. You can kind of see to get them straight. I like hot glue, but you could use fabric glue if you prefer. Next, I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on the nose. I simply just run it across. I don't even really pull the trigger on my glue gun. I just am very careful to not get it on my fingers. And then of course I just put the nose right between the eyes. Then I have this little mouth. You could use ribbon, felt, whatever you prefer. Again, I'm just going to kind of run it along the glue gun because it doesn't take much at all. And then once I have just a tiny bit on there, I center that right below the nose. And there's our face. If I see a spot that needs a little extra glue that I didn't get, I have a toothpick here for this reason. And I just take the toothpick right up under there and push it down into place. That way I don't get any on my finger. Next, I'm going to glue on the buttons. Oh, I just dropped one. Okay, let me grab another one here. Here's a button. Put a little bit of glue on it. Just put it right onto the belly, kind of centered with the face. And then going ahead and putting glue on my other button. Just stack those right on top. Next, I've got pipe cleaners. I've got two little pieces. To make the arms, I just wrap those pieces around each other. The nice thing about pipe cleaners is you can shape them. I leave them a little bit longer because I'm gonna shove that into the body. And then I will actually secure that with a little bit of glue too. But trying to shape it just a little bit. And then I'm going to just right at that center here. And if I don't like it, I can take it out and move it forward a little bit, which is what I'm gonna do. It's a little fuzzy, so I'm gonna trim the end. And then to make sure that those stay in place, I'm gonna add a little bit of glue. Otherwise, if somebody comes along kind of looking at the snowman and they push on them, they may slide right into the body where I don't want them further in there. So finally, I'm going to take a piece of ribbon. I'm going to try to do this on camera. It's really hard for me to do this because it's laying down away from me. But I'm going to take ribbon and I'm just going to tie it simply around the neck to make a scarf. And I'm going to fold it over and secure it with a little dot of glue. Once I have it where I want it for the scarf, and just like that, I'm going to put a little dot of glue right there and hold it in place. That way it doesn't move. And then I'm going to trim the ribbon down a little bit so my scarf's not quite so long. I think I just need one more dot of glue. Just like that. Take off any of those little random fuzzies from my stuffing that are poking through. Make sure I don't have any glue where I don't want it. And then the final touch is I'm going to take a little bit of makeup blush and just put it right outside of the top of that mouth. I can make that as dark as I would like. Give him some rosy cheeks. And then once I've done that, I'll just kind of use my finger to blend it in a little bit. And there we have it, our little snowman.